Welcome back to yet another episode of Thought-Provoking Conversations. We are here yet again for another week, I believe, week 7. So we're almost to the 2-month mark, which is pretty cool. Who knew that we'd actually make it this far and be this consistent? In a row is a lot for us. So, pretty proud. Got to see if we make it a double digits first, and then we can start celebrating.
Yeah, that's fair.
As usual, I have my co-host here, Yaid, next to me. Yaid, how you doing today?
Dude, I'm living the dream, man. I'm out here grinding away.
As usual.
Yeah.
At least we'd like to think. We'd like to think so.
You're right. I might be lying to myself. Who knows?
We'll find out later. All right. So this week, we wanted to explore a topic that we had kind of put on the back burner a couple weeks ago, and it's kind of to explore the whole concept of what we look for in the content we consume, whether that's in books, music, videos, really anything else, news, whatever. What kind of things we gravitated towards, what kind of content we like to consume in the first place, what we lean more towards, and just literally just anything that involves that, kind of what draws us in, basically, because there's a lot of different things, as we all know, different videos that captivate us, grabs at our emotions, but we don't a lot of times we don't really sit back and think, well, why does that resonate with me, right? So that's kind of what we wanted to approach this week, and yeah. So, I don't know if there's a better way that you would explain that.
No, I think you kind of hit the nail right on the head there. It's an interesting thing to truly kind of try to conceptualize as to why we are drawn to the things that we're drawn to, right? Is it the advertising? Is it look flashy? Is it nice? Is it attractive? Like, why do you pick the Netflix show that you pick? You know what I mean? Like, I usually am a very picky person, and eventually, like, I'll just be so picky that I just won't pick anything at all, and I'll just go back to something that I know is good.
Yeah.
So I noticed that trend a lot. But lately, the things that I've been really big into, right? Like we were talking about earlier, music has probably been one of the biggest ones that I tend to gravitate towards.
Mm-hmm.
Lucas Joyner's new album, Sir, that one's been pretty big there. Russ, really big into Russ. Reggaeton as always, and just different music. Yeah, just different music. You know what I mean? It kind of varies, and then also, like, I'm just gonna kind of go through like all the things I kind of do on a regular day-to-day basis.
Yeah, go for it.
And then YouTube wise, like just Joe Rogan. Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Like a big one. Jordan Peterson's lectures, actually, I've been finding those very, very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And more on that, like, here in a second, after I get down to my reading list. But impact theory is also like a really big one up there. And those are just like the 3 big guys. Like, occasionally I'll watch what's it called? Hot Ones with Sean Evans. I think he's a really good interviewer, and I think I really enjoy some of the things that they do. They just haven't put out any new videos lately, so I've been kind of chilling on that.
Mm-hmm.
But my reading list is actually probably like one of the longest things on here, because I've kind of given up the notion of like finishing a book from cover to cover, at least in one go, in one pass, before I start on a new one, because sometimes I just won't get back to it for a while. You know what I mean? And then I just don't start anything else because I'm thinking,
I gotta finish the other one.
I need to be, I'm almost like romantically involved with the book, and I can't like do anything else. I can't see any other books. You know what I mean?
Don't want to cheat on it.
Yeah, dude. I'm trying to keep that fidelity, But I've since changed that, and I'm like, now I just kind of like jump from book to book, and and just whatever kind of, moves me, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so one of them is, Resisting Happiness is one of them. The Undiscovered Self by Carl Jung. That one's been an interesting read. Um, Unstoppable by Tim Grover. I went back and touched a little bit on Mindset by Dr. Dweck, and
Mm-hmm.
then a little bit of the 4 Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss. And yeah, I mean, it's all over the place, right? Like I'm listening, and oh yeah, and I guess like last maybe like half a week ago, I was listening to The Rise of Superman by Stephen Kotler.
Hmm.
So I mean, it just kind of varies, you know what I mean? And so that's kind of like my reading list, it's just kind of there. I can't say like I'm just always like about one of those books. Like I'll just alternate between days or maybe multiple books and multiple in the same day.
Mm-hmm.
I do like how some of it kind of like interrelates. It's crazy how different people kind of reach the same conclusion, even though they consider themselves to be like in different fields, or at least that's how they get placed. I guess maybe they don't consider themselves because Carl Jung is dead, so he doesn't consider himself of anything anymore.
Hey, who knows?
But yeah, definitely, who knows, man. And then podcast, Tim Ferriss is a big one. Naval Ravikant has been a big one. Peter Attia, that one's been super interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I mean, I can, toss up their impact theory again. But
Yep.
I prefer to watch that in YouTube version rather than
Listen to it.
just listen to them talk. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've also been doing like some Mind Valley classes. And I mean, this is all on the side, like from regular school stuff. So, I mean, obviously school's in the mix, but
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed that like the things that I'm really drawn to are just conversations that I felt like I was never really. So at least for the YouTube, the reading, the podcast, and like the Mind Valley stuff, it's all kind of grouped in this category of um, conversations I was never felt like I wanted to discover, and
Mm-hmm.
also never felt like there was somebody that encouraged me to discover things about that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I I don't really know when the concept of improving myself really came into my life. Like truly improving yourself, and then having like legitimate steps, because I feel like everybody's always like, oh yeah, you just need to become a better version of yourself, or you need
Mm-hmm.
to do this. And um, that was, I guess I had like part of that kind of conversation, throughout like church, and then throughout like CCD, which is like catechism school. Like
Mm-hmm.
barely remember anything of it. Like I don't really pay. They didn't really pay that much attention, right? Which I'm trying to make up for now. It's a process, but but now I feel like that's kind of what I'm just trying to find like knowledge and also understanding of, what truly makes a person. What makes a person, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's interesting how much we actually move on autopilot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's one of those things. And in The Undiscovered Self by Carl Jung, I know he specifically talks about how people tend to not really have like a fundamental understanding of themselves,
Mm-hmm.
and whatever self-knowledge that they do have, it tends to come from their ego, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's like a whole like ocean of the rest of you that's like all in your subconscious, right? That doesn't really come to the surface very often. And if
Mm-hmm.
you're not truly paying attention for it, or if you're not like observing yourself, like you're not going to notice, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's far too easy for that to be calling the shots, and you're just kind of doing the things that you think you're calling the shots, but in reality, like probably not, if you don't really think about it. It's
Yep.
kind of scary to think about, man. But those have kind of been the things that have really been intriguing to me personally, just because like I mean, we've talked about in like one of the first weeks, right, is how do you get to know yourself? And
Mm-hmm.
for me, it's been such an enjoyable process to begin to discover like, who it is that I am and all that stuff. So that's really what draws me to at least like the majority of my content, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's that desire to, have an understanding of, what is the foundation of my life? How should I live my life? What are the examples that other people have done, and taking kind of advice from them, and, truly deciding what it is that I'm trying to be,
Mm-hmm.
who am I now and who am I trying to become? And so that's really where most of my content content tends to kind of talk about,
Mhm.
that I really enjoy kind of taking it in and going to the music, man. I mean, like we were talking about this beforehand, right? Music is something that, I feel like I've really gotten into, just in terms of like discovering new things.
Mhm.
Like I really enjoy just listening to different kind of music, and I really enjoy it when it's emotionally charged. Like
Mhm.
when there's something that the the singer or the artist is really trying to create. You
Mhm.
know, I'm a big fan of lyrics. Something about lyrics truly gets me, truly takes me somewhere, man. I don't know. I guess in that way, like that's kind of how like I feel in a lot of ways.
Mhm.
So I really just enjoy the passion, the work that goes into creating that piece of art, right? For lack of
Mhm.
a better term. And it's just like, it just gives you like all these different feelings associated with it, and it's really incredible to me,
Mhm.
because like when I was a little kid and I first started listening to music, and like especially back in high school, I remember listening to music just like to get pumped up.
Mhm.
Like the playlist that I was listening to when I was in football was way different than the things I listened to when I was on my way home. You know,
Mhm.
it was way different, and part of that was because a lot of the guys like on the team would listen to like Future, like hardcore, whatever rap, like the stuff you listen to before a game, right?
Mhm.
But you know, if I was incredibly honest, I didn't really like it at that point. I was just like, I don't really get this. I was just kind of listening to it because all my friends were listening to it, so I didn't really have like a particular, like if it was me, the thing that I was bumping when I was a teenager was like Take Care, like the whole album by Drake at that point. Because
Mhm.
I don't know, I've been like a very like soft music kind of guy. Um, the kind of music that makes you think of that one girl you talked to like at the grocery store like 10 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Makes you imagine what could have been. And so like now moving forward, like I've noticed that I'm a lot more just curious. So like I'll hop on Spotify and I'll just like go through random genres,
Mhm.
um or like Ahmed, for example, like we'll just exchange stuff. And I mean usually it kind of goes like bit of a feel. Like I'll just be like, oh, this song looks like it could be interesting,
Mhm.
and then I'll just kind of listen to it. And then I notice when it like grabs my attention, because I play it constantly. Like it's funny because I have like hundreds, if not thousands, of songs in my library,
Yeah.
but like I know what song is like in my mind constantly because I'll always play it when I get in there. You know what I mean? Like I'll usually have like at most 10 songs that I'll just constantly play no matter what.
Mhm.
And then that'll vary based on like either days or even months sometimes. Like sometimes I'll just be on the same song for some reason, and it's like, and I don't know why. It's just like something about it just makes me really, really feel it, really feel it. And then at a certain point, it's just like, okay, I think I get it. And then
Yeah.
it like kind of moves back into like the rest of the library where all the other songs are that I'll occasionally like shuffle through, But
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean it's been like an interesting concept to kind of think about, why I go to things,
Mhm.
why I try to, especially for the music part. It's like I think a big part of it is I just kind of want to understand, I kind of want to understand like what were you trying to say with this, or like what were you trying to evoke, you know what I mean? And it's like
Mhm.
it's really interesting for me to kind of think about it, because I'll be honest, I think music is probably one of the biggest things that I repeat. I don't tend to watch the same things over and over and over again, except for two movies. 300 by like with Gerard Butler. I
Mhm.
watched that religiously when I was in high school, and then like a little bit in college. And
Yeah.
then The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise in it.
Mhm.
And those two movies, I felt like I watched those over and over again for some reason. And I don't usually do that. Like I don't usually watch movies more than once. Maybe
Mhm.
twice at most. But like when I'm watching it, like every other day, every weekend, like I guess, and also Step Brothers. I did watch Step Brothers in like eighth grade and like watched like every day for a whole summer just to memorize like all the words because I had another friend at the time who we were about that. But yeah, man, I mean, I don't know. Like how do you feel? Like, I don't know if there's anything that I said that kind of like stood out to you, but about what you kind of tend to consume, you know what I mean? Like what draws you to things? Like, why do you click on the videos that you watch, you know?
Yeah. No, I think you have a much wider range of stuff you consume than I do. Um, I definitely stick to the same things and don't venture out too much. Um, um, I think as far as like themes wise for content, I don't know.
Yeah.
um, yeah, I don't know. Just kind of stick to the same old things. It's more of a routine thing.
Yeah.
Um,
What's your routine then? Because I'm curious now.
uh, well, usually, I mean, as of recent, the only thing I really consume consistently is the Pat McAfee show, which is a sports comedy uh, podcast that I watch on YouTube, the YouTube version of it. And but besides that, I don't think I really consume anything else really that consistently.
Yeah. Do you not watch sports anymore?
There is no sports.
Yeah, I guess not right now, but I mean post post or like pre coronavirus.
A little bit. There wasn't. I mean, football was done. Um, basketball, the playoffs hadn't started yet, so nobody really watches regular season basketball. Baseball hadn't started yet, and don't really watch hockey. So
Yeah.
um,
So why do you watch sports so much?
I like the team aspect. I guess maybe because I remember playing it and I've enjoyed it, so I enjoy watching it as well. I enjoy the strategics behind the sport. Um, yeah, I think it just
Do you have teams? Do you have specific teams you like to follow?
yeah, for sure. Um, I mean, I have my football teams that I support and stuff, but I can enjoy watching any game because I just love the sport. Like especially with
Yeah.
football in specific. Um, I don't have to only watch my teams. Like I enjoy those games, but just as often I'll watch any other teams play. Um, because I guess I just enjoy watching the game. Um,
For what it is, like
yeah,
for the
for what it
game.
is, for the strategics behind it, and seeing just how the games develop, kind of chess game
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah. That's interesting, man. I think that's like an interesting concept that's so different than compared to me because I don't really like watching sports. Like, I mean, I'll watch it if like I have other people around, but like if I'm by myself, I won't like throw on the game just to watch the game. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
I think that's so it's a really interesting concept that you just like watching it to watch the game, you know, because I feel like there's a wide range of individuals. Like there's those that just like to watch their team because they like
Hmm.
their team. And then there's people like you that just like to watch the game, or I'm sure there's a fair amount of people that just watch it because other people watch it, you know, and I kind of fall in that
Hmm.
category. It's like, for example, I think like back when I came to visit, I think during Christmas break, Isaac
Hmm.
and I caught the like I think the Packers were playing. I think it was like the semifinals or something like that. I don't know. I'm not very well versed in in the football, but like it was like maybe like a couple days maybe after Christmas. Yeah, I think that and we were probably getting close to like coming back.
Yeah.
Uh, it was right around then, and you know we went to the bar and just grabbed a beer and just watched the game. You know, and I mean
Hmm.
I enjoyed it then. You know, like I obviously like I really enjoy watching like good good executions of plays and stuff and all that, but like
Hmm.
never really consider it like something that I would like to watch in my spare time. You know,
Yeah.
but I think that's a really interesting concept, and
Hmm.
um I'm just intrigued. I'm intrigued by that. So
Yeah.
is there anything else like why do you watch the movies that you watch then?
Um, I think they all play on my emotions to a certain degree, I guess. Um, I just get captivated when I can. I feel like the more you can relate to a character, the more it draws me in. So that's kind of why I watch the movies that I do. I prefer movies that have some sort of message behind them. Um, but I mean, I love comedy movies too, like like Step Brothers, Semi Pro. Love those movies.
Yeah,
Um,
classics.
oh, absolutely. But um, but yeah, like some of my favorite movies are like Remember the Titans or and it all goes back to sports movies are typically my favorite movies. Like Coach Carter, I love Coach Carter. Um, I don't know, maybe it's those underdog stories of just people coming together despite the differences is probably a theme that I would um, gravitate towards quite a bit, and just sports. I feel sports sports movies in general captivated the best out of anything. So maybe that's why I'm drawn to it as much as I am. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah,
intriguing, dude. Intriguing. So what music do you listen to then? Like, do you just listen to the same old thing all the time?
yeah.
Yeah.
I
Wow.
listen to music based on what I enjoy singing. That's why I don't really listen to rap much
Yeah.
because I can't really follow along with it as much. I really don't. Yeah, I've just never I've never really gravitated towards rap. Like I appreciate it for what it is and some of the messages for some of the artists that have it, but it's never. I wouldn't say it's in my top 5 or even 10 probably of choices of music that I'm going to gravitate towards.
And when I kind of want to go back to the fact that like you listen to what you like to see. So what did you mean by that? Can you unpack that a little
No,
bit?
not
Yeah.
see, sing.
Oh, what you like to sing.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, what you like to sing.
Yep.
Intriguing. Okay. I mean, I feel you there. I feel you there. I do like my fair share of songs to just sing to.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I like Joji. You know.
Wouldn't know.
Yes. Yeah, you wouldn't know. That's okay. That's okay. I mean, I think I guess I'm kind of curious. So when you were going through the process of figuring out what draws you to the content you consume, like what did because I know you said you were kind of struggling with it. So like
Hmm.
what would be the things that kind of would come up for you,
I don't know. I guess I don't have much thought into what I consume. It's more based on
Yes.
feel. If it makes me feel happy or if it makes me feel some sort of emotion, I'll gravitate towards it. But if it doesn't, then I won't.
Really?
Hmm. Whether that emotion is being happy, sad, like mad or whatever. If it causes an emotion, I'll gravitate towards it. But if it doesn't, then I probably won't.
That's I mean that's an interesting observation too, that like you tend to go for the things that tend to evoke feelings in you, you know.
Hmm.
Do you ever feel like there's stuff that you don't want to mess with, like things that just are very aversive to you?
Like like what? I guess.
I don't know, I guess like do you ever like see something, maybe like a video or a song or a movie and you're just like, oh yeah, definitely not gonna watch that. Or like you just get a feeling like, oh no.
Maybe.
Eat.
I'm sure there is stuff that I avoid, but I don't know. I couldn't name you something off the top of my head.
No. Interesting. Yeah. Because I know like I've had those feelings before about certain things where I'm just like, oh no, I don't really want to watch that, and
Hmm.
then I end up getting around and I watch it and like I discover something about myself in that process.
Hmm.
So that's kind of why I asked, because I know that there's been a couple of times where maybe I see a video.
Hmm.
Let me see if I can come up with something. Um, oh yeah, it was like, I guess it was kind of like with Jordan Peterson. So the first time I discovered Jordan Peterson was
Hmm.
Joe Rogan, right?
Yeah.
And I saw like I had watched, all these different types of like kind of people on Joe Rogan already. I'd seen a couple, and then all of a sudden, like I was just like, oh, Jordan Peterson here. And I was like, who is this guy? I didn't really know anything about him. Hadn't really followed anything,
Hmm.
and I was just like, I know, I almost got his book, but I read like a couple of the reviews, and
Hmm.
some people were like, this man is the devil, and I was like, all right,
For real, maybe not this
maybe
one.
not. Yeah, I was like, maybe not. I don't know if I want to mess with this, because like the comments were really polarized. So it's just like, maybe it's not worth the time and the investment.
Yeah, fair enough.
And I didn't really get into it, and then just I didn't really want to like watch the video, but I saw that it had like a whole bunch of views, and
Hmm.
I was like, okay. I was like, something about this might be worth watching. And it wasn't until I actually watched it that
Hmm.
I haven't stopped. I haven't stopped. And it was like, wow, dude, I was like, damn, I was so wrong. And
Hmm.
I know that feeling is something that I feel often. It's not just like that I don't get that uh like I just always know what I want to watch. Like occasionally
Hmm.
the thing that I feel like I need to watch is actually something that's disguised behind like a kind of like a feeling of like fear, kind of
Hmm.
whatever. It's really hard. I don't really want to call it fear, but it's like this feeling of like, maybe I shouldn't. You know what I mean?
Just
It's kind of like that.
apprehension.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, apprehension is a really good word. I think I just have like a sudden feeling for apprehension, and I'm like, dude, do I really want to do this? And then I do it, and 9 times out of 10, I don't regret it. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? Like getting past that point, and I don't know if you've ever noticed that point in your life, but I've definitely like seen it quite a bit, especially within like these last couple of months where I've just kind of been going on like this kind of growth craze. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
it's intriguing to me. But yeah, dude.
No, yeah, I get that. I'm very, yeah, I think I'm very picky, like you were kind of saying earlier. Like when it comes to watching like movies or something, like let's say we're gonna sit down and watch a movie, like I'll take forever choosing something because most things just look
Yeah,
boring to me. And I don't know
really
what
boring at
exact,
first.
yeah, just everything most of the time just look like this all looks either I've seen it or I've been like, oh, this just doesn't look that interesting. I'm very indecisive, and then that makes me upset, and then it makes me go like that. I don't want to watch anything because
Yeah, yeah.
it's taking too long, and I don't
And
want
then
to
I'll
make up my
just
mind.
quit.
So yeah, sometimes it's like whatever. I'll just watch something that I
Nah,
have watched before that I like.
yeah. Maybe that's just getting old.
Yeah.
I think of that because like have you also noticed that like after a certain age, like I mean I noticed it in my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law he used to experiment with drinks and stuff, and he's like, I got tired of getting all these different type of drinks, so now I just get an old fashioned because I know it's always good.
Hmm.
And I was like, what if you discovered something that was better though? And
Hmm.
he's like, the chances of that happening to me actually, like I just want to enjoy a drink sometimes, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I find it like very enticing to start going down that path, starting kind of going down the things that you kind of know and understand. Or maybe if somebody recommends it to you like highly enough, you'll be like, okay, you know what, I'll give it a shot, you know what I mean? I'll
Yeah.
check it out. But usually like if it's on your own accord, like exploration doesn't tend to happen, you know.
Hmm.
And I'm curious, like I mean, maybe it's just what you like. You know what I mean? Maybe it's that feeling that you're talking about, like that it's gonna give you something that you find desirable, right?
Hmm.
And it's just like an unspoken bond. But in these last couple of times, like the only reason I say I'm curious if like we're just going towards this like the safe option as a way to not necessarily have to go through that kind of like apprehension,
Hmm.
because at least I can speak from my experience. That's definitely been the case. like I said, dude, 9 times out of 10, I usually find something on the other side where I learn from it, and I
Hmm.
don't know. I hate to say I just become a better person by just watching something, but it definitely gives me some thoughts that I know I never would have thought of before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm curious, like, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think that that would be a case? Like, do you think that we tend to just go to what we know because it's safer than what we don't know, or do you
Yeah.
think that it's like that kind of like subconscious connection?
I think a little bit of both, right? I think we like to stay in our comfort zone and stick with what we know. If it's kind of like the saying, like if it ain't broke, don't fix it type of mentality. It's like, well, if I like this, why would I try something else? And like I'm very indecisive when it comes to movies, but I'm very adventurous when it comes to like food. Like I'm never afraid to try something when it comes to food wise. Um, and as far as videos go, like I will watch like basically anything. Now, whether I watch a whole thing, that's a different story, right? Because I might get bored and click off of it. But
Yeah,
I won't. I don't ever feel like the whole like I don't know if I should watch this or not. Um, I guess
yeah,
the only thing that ever keeps me from checking, I think what makes movies like makes me more picky on what movie it is because it's such a time commitment, right? Like I was like, I don't want to go through a 2 hour, 2.5 hour movie just to at the end be like, that was a waste, right? So I don't want to waste my time.
yeah,
So I think that's why I'm picky towards movies, and the videos is like, well, it was like 10 minutes, so like whatever.
yeah. That's intriguing, man. Because carry that indecisiveness everywhere. Like even with food,
Hmm.
like I after I discovered one restaurant, I was always keen to want to go back to that restaurant and get the same thing because I knew it was safe.
Hmm.
Especially since they're a little bit more expensive here. So it's like, oh, this is safe.
Yeah,
Oh,
don't
this
want to
is
waste your
safe.
money.
Oh, this, yeah. Oh, this is safe. It's like I know what it is. I don't want to eat something that's not good, and then I just wasted my money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I would do that with food, right?
Hmm.
Even though I'd like to keep an air about myself that I would try new things. But when it came down to it, getting that steak with a side of fries always seemed very appealing. You know what I'm saying? And it
Yeah.
was like, maybe I'm not as keen to trying new things unless like somebody recommends it to me, and then I'm like, okay, why not?
Hmm.
Let's see what happens. And
Because you can
it's
blame it on
crazy.
someone else.
Yeah, yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe I'm just not taking ownership of being willing to try new things, right?
Hmm.
Um, and I mean, I also see it like with the videos that I watch on YouTube because it's like, even if it is only like 20-30 minutes, I still don't like, sometimes I'm still like not about it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like I'm still sometimes like very, very selective over the things that I pick. And so
Hmm.
it just makes me interested in like, what are the things that make me so selective of it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
I think when it comes to everything, well, for most things outside of movies, I just don't put much thought into it. So I'm just like, yeah, maybe I'm just very almost like an airhead type of mentality. It was like, oh, cool, yeah, I'll check it out or whatever. If I get bored, I'll just click off of it.
Yeah.
Or the food, it's like, well, if I don't like it, I mean, oh well, I'll get something else.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
That's interesting. Huh.
I just trust my gut and be like, oh, it feels right, so I'll just do it.
Yeah. I'm curious. You should like try to notice how often it takes you down the right path or down a desirable path. You know what I mean? Like down like you enjoyed. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
I'm curious to see where that goes. See if it's any better than the way that I go about it, where I'm just like, I don't know if I want to try anything new. I'm just gonna chill here. I'm just gonna chill. But all right. I mean, is there anything else that you'd like to talk to? Because I think we've kind of
No, I think we've ran the course on that
talked about.
on the whole content. why we consume things. I think I still need to put a lot more thought into it. I'm been having just a lot of struggle with it. I don't know if I don't think 3 days was enough for me to kind of figure that out. um, but like to kind of sum
Yeah.
it up for me, I think it all I lean towards whatever causes a feeling, some sort of emotional connection too. Um, as far as content goes, and but there's a lot of that I still had to explore because I think I go um like towards a lot of things that other people might find as a waste of time. But
What do you mean by that?
like just watching like that podcast or whatever, right? Like I spent 3 hours a day watching that. Um,
Oh, oh yeah. Oh yeah, no, definitely.
so, but I enjoy that, so I keep doing it because I'm like, why not? If I'm getting everything else that I think I need to get done, then no harm, no foul.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah, there's still a lot that I have to kind of explore within that.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be something to. One of the things that I did today was I wrote down everything that I did for a couple of days. Well, I wrote down everything I did for today just to kind of get an idea of like where I spent the most of my time.
Hmm.
And that kind of started giving me like a bit of a understanding about where my time really goes. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
just like approaching my day with that mindset really kind of allowed me to kind of see it like, okay, these are the songs that I'm playing on rotation. And I'm kind of like just throw it on whenever I'm just doing something around the house, like in between my lectures, like I'll just listen to music in the process.
Hmm.
And then like, or if I'm on my desk, I'll throw on like a podcast or I'll throw on like Jordan Peterson.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I mean, it might be worth you trying it out, man, and just trying out like a daily kind of blog of like what are the things that you're kind of consuming. You know what I mean? Like where does your time go?
Hmm.
Because I've also noticed that I spend a lot of my time uh, listening to music, man. Like I never realized I spent this much time listening to music or like on YouTube.
Yeah.
And like I kind of felt it before, but it's like a whole different experience down on paper.
Hmm.
But
Yeah. I
yeah,
like don't listen to any music
but yeah, man. I think
on most days. I don't really
really
think I listen to much at all.
like
Um,
at all.
yeah. Um, just since we've been like
Damn.
stuck inside or whatever, like I used to listen to music like on the way, like in the car or whatever, or like walking between classes and stuff. But like now I've been here, like
Yeah.
yeah, just I don't.
So what do you do when? I mean, yeah, I guess I feel that. I
Yeah,
feel that. I have some questions, but maybe I'll ask them for the debrief or something.
yeah. We'll talk about that on the post
I'm
video
intrigued.
recording. All
I'm intrigued.
right. Well, I apologize to everybody. I don't have
Yeah.
much answers today as far as I go. I think Gabe broke down his stuff pretty well. But hey, sometimes that happens. I'll get back to you guys on that one maybe in a couple weeks. Retouch on it and see if I have a better idea on what I'm doing. But yeah, yet again, thank you for your time. Uh, any last words you want to leave the people with?
Yep. Um, I don't think you need to apologize first, just because I think the nature of this question is very very intriguing. Because how often do you really think about what you're watching and why you're watching it? I think the why being like the important part. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
it seems it's far too easy to just put something on, just to watch it. You know what I mean? And so I think that that's definitely worth like spending some reflection on, because you do spend your days based on the time. Your days are basically spent consuming the things that you consume, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I think in our day and age today, I think we're we're very wired to just always be consuming something, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think that that's definitely like something important. And if that's the case, and you're like normal people, at least here in America, right? Like, it's probably worth trying to figure out like where your time is going, right? Whether it's just like on social media and just like liking posts and moving through things or whatever. But it's definitely worth some thought, because like at the end of the day, like, is it serving you? Is it just entertaining you? Are you learning, or are you just kind of like watching something to pass the time? You know, that, I guess that's something that I think about in my perspective, and maybe that might just be me, but I think this is worth kind of thinking about, you know, keeping at least in the back of your mind as you kind of move through life. But aside from that, you know, thank you to all of you who decided to kind of stop by and watch this video. And, you know, I hope you guys stick around and join us for the next one.
Yeah. If you made it to the end, we appreciate it. Go ahead and leave a like if you enjoyed what you heard, you know, made you think of something new. And go ahead and hit subscribe if you want to keep up with what we post. You know, we post every Thursday. So and we have 6 other episodes that you can go watch if this is the first one you've watched. So recommend checking those out. But yeah, I think that's all I have. Does he have something else? No. All right.
No, good to go.
All right.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Hopefully we see you guys again next week, and we'll figure out what we're talking about. Have a good week.